There's the white set at the Mint where it'll be a white bottle form, but it'll go up one side, bring your eye down around, and then when you hit another spot of negative space, all these off-center bottlenecks are kind of flowing in and out from one form to the other. And to me, that's oftentimes it's playing with color theory, because I also do those in color as well, with their sandblast and acid etch. So if you have backlight behind them, seeing the kind of like the ghost image of one flowing into the other. And what I like about glass in that aspect is that it is translucent, and you can decide how translucent you want it to be. You can cover it with opaque glass, and you can grind away opaque glass to bring up color from underneath it and let it light up. The poulet sans tête, and those are the headless chickens. And those are, it's a form I've been working on for a while, and it's playing with asymmetry, different techniques involved, one being in Calmo, where I'll take two different colored bubbles, open up the ends, calibrate them to match, join them together, and then heat them up and seal it. So it's like a welded seam of two different color glass bubbles. I'll blow that up and shape it, and that's all transparent. And then afterwards I'll cover that all with opaque black glass. And after it's annealed, after it's gone into a kiln and cooled, I'll carve away the black surface with stone wheels on a lathe. And that allows me to get different ridges of texture and also carve away that outer layer. So it brings this polished, opaque thing, the shape, to start to get all these different facets. And where you go through, when you go through the opaque layer of black, it allows the color to really pop and start to sing from inside the form. So it's just, it allows it to really glow. And the reason I call them headless chickens is that, to me, they just remind me of these kind of like abstract bird forms with lopped off heads. And I think it's kind of comical, but at the same time I think it's really beautiful. And so there's a grouping of those there. I got interested in coldworking about 3 years ago, and it was a way for me to rent studio time, blow forms that weren't just finished in the hot shop, so I could spend time making this form, and then I could take it home after it's been cooled, and I could spend a few days just carving on it. And that totally flipped my world around, because instead of having things that are executed within half an hour, boom, it's done, and the next day it's the final product, it allowed me to start looking at glass and realizing other aspects I'm interested in it, where if you make a facet, how the light refracts through it, how volume is kind of accentuated, how you can just kind of play around with trick in the eye to kind of investigate deeper inside something. And that's been kind of, lately it's been kind of a trademark of more of my sculptural work, is the whole atmosphere of coldworking behind it. It allows you to sit and think as you're doing it, and it's not always this non-stop, fast-paced thing, which usually blowing glass is. It's, you're trying to crank it out, you're hot, it's loud, and you're getting it done, and then it's over, and it feels great, but then that's it. And then now you can kind of go into it and be like, well, this is what glass was doing, and now this is what glass can do, or what I can do. So I'm really excited about those three pieces. The black funnel forms, that's kind of like what we were talking about earlier, with just the whole aspect of drawing. So growing up, I did a lot of drawing, and I just love texture and line quality. And those forms there, I'm still trying to figure out why I'm using the funnel form. I think it's mainly that design-wise, it's aesthetically pleasing, because it's industrially fabricated thing with a general purpose, so it's streamlined. There's no frills about it. There's no kind of added details to it. It's like, this is an object and this does this. It's fully designed for that one function, and because of that, you end up with this really beautiful, sleek, elegant shape. And so I started looking around, and I'll find funnels every now and then, and I'll buy them and kind of hold on to them, because each one's a little bit different, but every now and then you find one that's unique enough that it reminds me of architecture. And then from there you can kind of break down how that thing is built three-dimensionally, just how all the lines come together and how it all congests up towards the top where it's all constricted, and just kind of, in a way, to me it's like a map when you can make it out of glass with all the lines. Like once it's underlit, which is not at the Mint right now, but if you light it from underneath, it's like a whole spiderweb of lines, and this shows how everything kind of converges up to one point. And I think that's really important to me. And the drawing next to it is this kind of recreating the same thing two-dimensionally, but dealing with the idea of just playing with the whole silhouette of the form and just making this really moody, deep black drawing and trying to recreate that in glass as well. Eventually, I'd like to start doing just two-dimensional panes of glass made out of all those layers of cane, and then just carving on those and having wall pieces of just drawings of texture. That's, I think, down the road, that's kind of what I'm leaning towards.